Hey everyone, I bet you've seen the news about the latest SpaceX Starship launch.
It's been kind of hard to miss,
Yeah, pretty wild stuff.
for sure.
So get ready to go deeper than those headlines because we're doing a deep dive today into a CBS News article.
All about that crazy January 16th test flight.
Yep.
What's really amazing to see is SpaceX just pushing the boundaries,
Totally.
like what we thought was even possible with space travel.
Yeah.
And they're doing it in such a dramatic way.
Yeah, it's definitely not your usual rocket launch.
Nope.
This super heavy Starship system.
It's a beast.
It's a beast. The most powerful rocket ever built.
Yeah.
33 Raptor engines.
Unbelievable.
Generating 16 million pounds of thrust.
It's wild.
So help me understand this.
Okay.
What makes all that power so important for SpaceX's goals?
I think that power is really the key to making their vision of reusable spacecraft
Okay.
a reality. To really revolutionize space travel, and they need to make it more affordable and accessible. And reusability is like the cornerstone of that strategy.
I see, yeah.
Yeah.
So this time they actually managed to land the super heavy booster back on the launch pad, right between those massive mechanical arms they call chopsticks.
It's insane.
I have to admit, even watching the video, it's impressive.
Oh, yeah.
So can you break down how that whole catch system actually works?
Yeah, so those chopsticks are essentially giant, incredibly precise robotic arms
Okay.
designed to guide the booster
Right.
back onto that landing pad.
Yeah.
It's a complex system that requires incredibly precise timing and control.
Wow.
And remember, this was their third attempt at this.
Right.
They had one successful catch. They had one diversion because of sensor issues on the launch tower.
Okay.
And now this one with these upgraded, more robust shielding on those sensors.
Interesting. So it seems like they're constantly learning and refining,
Absolutely, yeah.
which is pretty cool to see.
It's really cool to see.
Sadly, the Starship upper stage didn't have the same smooth landing.
No, it did not.
SpaceX called it a rapid, unscheduled disassembly.
Yeah, I saw that.
Debris ended up near a Turks and Caicos,
Oh, wow.
pretty far from where it was supposed to splash down.
Yeah, that's a reminder that space flight,
Right,
especially when pushing the limits like this,
Yeah.
comes with inherent risks.
for sure.
The plan was for the Starship to loop halfway around the planet
Okay.
and then re-enter the atmosphere
Mm-hmm.
for a splashdown in the Indian Ocean.
Gotcha.
It wasn't meant to reach orbit on this particular test.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So Elon Musk tweeted that a possible oxygen fuel leak above the engine firewall might have been the culprit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently it overwhelmed the vent capacity and, well,
boom.
yeah, you saw what happened.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm curious, why is a leak like that so dangerous during a launch?
Well, think about the immense pressure involved in a rocket launch.
Right.
You have volatile propellants like oxygen and fuel being pumped into the engines at incredibly high rates.
Oh, wow.
A leak in that environment is essentially a ticking time bomb.
I see.
Any spark or excessive heat can lead to a catastrophic explosion.
Wow, that's scary.
Yeah.
So for this flight, they packed a ton of upgrades into the Starship.
They did.
Smaller stabilizing fins, improved avionics, redesigned fuel lines, 25% boost in propellant volume.
Wow.
It's like they were trying everything at once.
They kind of were.
I get that these upgrades are supposed to make Starship better,
Uh-huh.
but can you walk me through how each of them actually contributes to the overall performance and reliability?
Yeah, so each of these changes is targeted at a specific aspect of Starship's operation.
Okay.
The smaller fins, for example,
Yeah.
reduce stress and heat buildup during atmospheric reentry.
Interesting.
Improved avionics mean better navigation and control,
Okay.
ensuring the Starship goes exactly where it needs to.
Uh-huh.
The redesigned fuel lines optimize the flow of propellants,
Right.
maximizing engine efficiency,
Okay.
and that increased propellant volume.
Yeah.
That allows for longer missions and more ambitious maneuvers.
I see. So it's a testament to SpaceX's iterative design philosophy.
Absolutely.
They're constantly
Constantly testing.
learning and refining their designs.
Refining, yeah.
Something else that caught my attention, they had over 30 cameras on board.
It's a lot of cameras.
It's like they wanted to capture every possible angle of the flight.
Oh, yeah.
What are they hoping to learn from all that footage?
Well, it's not just about capturing those cool visuals.
Right.
SpaceX is using those cameras to gather a massive amount of data during these tests.
Gotcha.
They're streaming real-time video and telemetry back to Earth using their Starlink satellites.
Oh,
which is a
Right.
pretty ingenious approach to data collection.
yeah.
They're analyzing everything from engine performance to aerodynamic behavior
Okay.
to learn and improve for future flights.
They also had a dummy Starlink satellite deployment system on board.
Uh-huh.
The article compared it to a Pez dispenser, which is a pretty funny image.
I saw that. It's funny.
But why test that out during this flight?
So Starlink is a crucial piece of SpaceX's larger strategy.
Okay.
It's not just about global internet access.
Right.
It's about creating a revenue stream to fund their more ambitious projects like Starship, and will also be a critical communications network for future space missions,
Okay.
especially those further out in the solar system.
Speaking of ambitious projects, they're also working with NASA on a Starship variant
They are.
designed to land astronauts on the moon.
It's
As
incredible.
part of the Artemis program, right?
That's right.
That whole project seems straight out of science fiction.
It really does.
It's a complex undertaking.
Yeah.
Involving launching Starship into orbit, then refueling it in space with multiple tanker starships,
Wow.
before finally rendezvousing with an Orion capsule carrying astronauts for the lunar descent.
It's mind-blowing.
It's a bold vision.
Yeah.
But SpaceX's progress with Starship makes it seem achievable.
It really does.
So SpaceX is all about making Starship fully reusable. But here's something I find really interesting. They haven't even attempted to catch a returning Starship yet.
That's right.
So what do you think are the biggest challenges they'll need to overcome to make that a reality?
That's a great question. Catching a returning Starship is a whole different level of complexity compared to catching the super heavy booster. Catching a returning Starship is a whole different level of complexity.
Right.
Compared to catching the super heavy booster.
Yeah.
The Starship will be coming in from orbit,
Oh, right.
traveling at much higher speeds
Wow.
and enduring extreme temperatures
Yeah.
during re-entry.
That's intense.
The precision required to safely capture it
Yeah.
is just, it's mind-boggling.
I can only imagine. Okay, I see how that would be a huge challenge.
For sure.
What if they do pull it off, though?
Okay.
What would be the implications of actually catching a returning Starship?
That's where it gets really exciting.
Okay.
If they can make catching a Starship routine,
Yeah.
it would be a complete game changer for space exploration.
What?
Imagine, instead of building a new Starship for every mission, they could just refurbish and reuse the ones they've caught.
Right.
The cost savings would be astronomical.
I bet.
And that would open up a whole new era of possibilities for space travel.
So it's not just about getting to space. It's
Yeah.
about making it sustainable and affordable in the long run.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think about the impact on scientific research.
Okay.
Imagine being able to send large-scale missions to Mars,
Right.
or even further out into the solar system, without breaking the bank.
Yeah.
We could see a boom in new discoveries and advancements in fields like astronomy, astrophysics, and planetary science.
And it's not just about science, is it?
It's not just about science.
Reusable spacecraft could also revolutionize commercial space ventures, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Affordable access to space could lead to a surge in new industries.
Like what?
We could see everything from space-based solar power stations to asteroid mining operations,
Oh,
maybe even manufacturing facilities in orbit.
that's wild.
The possibilities are endless.
It sounds like reusable spacecraft could have a ripple effect across almost every aspect of our lives.
For sure.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the cultural impact.
Okay.
Space travel has always captured the human imagination.
Right.
And with reusable spacecraft,
Yeah.
it could become something much more tangible
Right.
and relatable.
Yeah, I see that.
Imagine a future where space tourism is commonplace.
Oh, okay.
Where people can experience the wonder of seeing Earth from orbit firsthand.
That would be amazing. But let's get back to the Artemis program for a moment.
Okay.
Remind me how Starship fits into NASA's plans to return humans to the moon.
So NASA has selected Starship
Okay.
as the lunar lander for the Artemis missions.
Gotcha.
It'll be responsible for carrying astronauts down to the lunar surface
Wow.
and back up to lunar orbit,
Mm.
where they'll rendezvous with the Orion spacecraft
Okay.
for the return trip to Earth.
So Starship is going to be the vehicle that takes us back to the moon.
It is. That's pretty incredible. It's a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
And it highlights just how versatile Starship is designed to be.
Right.
It's not just a vehicle for point-to-point transportation in space.
Okay.
It's a platform for a wide range of missions,
I see.
from lunar landings to deep space exploration.
You mentioned deep space exploration.
Yeah.
I know Elon Musk has made it clear that Mars is the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
But honestly,
Yeah.
how realistic is it to think we can actually send humans to Mars?
Uh-huh.
let alone establish a settlement there.
It's certainly a daunting challenge.
Yeah.
But with Starship,
Oh,
it's becoming increasingly plausible.
okay.
The key is going to be in-space refueling.
Ah, okay.
You can't just launch a fully fueled Starship all the way to Mars. It's
Right.
just too far.
It's a long way.
So the plan is to launch Starship into Earth orbit
Right.
and then send multiple tanker Starships
Okay.
to rendezvous with it
Uh,
and transfer fuel.
so it's like building a gas station in space.
It's exactly like building a gas station in space.
That's pretty wild.
It is. It's essential for long-duration missions
Right.
beyond Earth orbit.
Yeah.
And once Starship reaches Mars,
Mm-hmm.
it'll need to land safely.
Okay.
That's another huge challenge,
Right.
considering Mars's thin atmosphere.
Didn't they have some issues with Starship prototypes during landing tests here on Earth?
There have been some dramatic landings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But remember, SpaceX embraces a philosophy of rapid prototyping
Right.
and iterative design.
Mm-hmm.
They learn from every test,
Right.
both the successes and the failures.
Yeah.
And they use that knowledge to refine their designs.
Okay.
That's how they've made such incredible progress in such a short time.
So they see those crashes as valuable learning experiences.
Exactly.
Interesting.
It's part of their process.
Okay.
And it's not just about landing on Mars.
Right.
It's about making Starship capable of taking off again.
Oh, right.
For the return trip to Earth,
Yeah.
they're thinking long-term
Right.
about establishing a sustainable presence on Mars,
Mm-hmm.
and that means having a spacecraft that can travel back and forth.
Okay, that makes sense. But even if we can get to Mars and land safely, how would humans actually survive there?
Right.
It's a pretty hostile environment.
That's where things get even more fascinating.
Okay.
SpaceX envisions using Starship itself as the foundation
Okay.
for a Martian base camp.
Wow.
The spacious interior of Starship could be adapted to accommodate living quarters,
Oh, wow.
laboratories,
Okay.
even greenhouses for growing food,
So they're going to turn a starship into a habitat.
essentially.
That sounds like something straight out of a science fiction movie.
It really does.
That's pretty cool.
It's a testament to the ambition and ingenuity of SpaceX engineers.
Yeah.
They're not just thinking about getting to Mars.
Right.
They're thinking about what it'll take to stay there and thrive.
This all sounds incredibly complex.
It is, yeah.
What are some of the key technologies that make Starship so different from anything we've seen before?
Well, first off, you have those Raptor engines.
Right.
They're true marvels of engineering.
Correct.
Much more efficient than traditional rocket engines.
Mm-hmm.
And they run on methane,
Okay.
which is interesting because they're much more efficient than traditional rocket engines. And they run on methane, which is interesting because it's a fuel that could potentially be produced on Mars using local resources.
Yeah.
That would make long-term missions much more sustainable.
So they're thinking ahead to that Martian settlement. That's impressive foresight. But I have to ask, with all this talk of Mars and reusable spacecraft, what about the environmental impact here on Earth? Are all these launches going to pollute the atmosphere?
That's a crucial consideration, and one that the entire space industry is grappling with. SpaceX in particular is taking a proactive approach to minimizing their environmental footprint.
Okay, so besides using methane, what are they doing specifically?
Well, for one, those Raptor engines we talked about are designed to be incredibly efficient, which means they produce fewer emissions compared to older rocket engines.
Okay, that's good to know. What else are they doing to be more environmentally responsible?
They've chosen the location of their launch facility in Boca Chica, Texas, very carefully. It's a relatively remote area with a minimal impact on surrounding communities and ecosystems.
That makes sense. I imagine they're also trying to deal with the issue of space debris,
Right.
all those leftover rocket parts and satellites orbiting the Earth.
Absolutely. They're investing in technologies to track and recover debris from their launches, minimizing the amount that's left in orbit. They're also designing their spacecraft with end-of-life disposal in mind, so they can be safely deorbited and burn up in the atmosphere.
It sounds like they're really taking a long-term, holistic approach to sustainability. It's encouraging to hear that they're not just focused on getting to space, but doing it in a responsible way.
It's a balance that all spacefaring nations and companies will need to strike. The future of space exploration depends on our ability to expand our horizons without compromising the health of our own planet.
Well said. So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from the technical details of Starship to the broader implications of reusable spacecraft and the challenges of establishing a human presence on Mars. What do you think is the most important takeaway for our listeners?
I think it's the realization that we're at a pivotal moment in the history of space exploration. With technologies like Starship, we're on the cusp of a new era of possibilities. But with those possibilities come responsibilities. We need to approach space exploration with a sense of wonder and ambition, but also with a deep respect for our planet and a commitment to sustainability.
It's inspiring to think about the potential benefits of space exploration, the scientific discoveries, the technological advancements, the expansion of human knowledge and understanding. But it's crucial that we do it responsibly, ethically, and with a long-term vision.
We're not just passengers on this journey. We're the architects of our own future in space. The choices we make today will determine what that future looks like.
I think that's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, and for you listening out there. Keep looking up, keep asking questions, and keep dreaming big. The future of space exploration is in our hands.